So when you go out to the bars and you get who's Renee, Neil? Why she love you
How she? I like that pivot. Pivot. Neil's like, I don't
with the
know.
kissy faces?
No, that was your future sister-in-law, but we're gonna leave that alone.
Oh, next comment.
God damn.
Rob be quietly trying to blow people up a little bit. Y'all always try to just sprinkle a little bit, like my man with the salt.
I didn't know that was gonna be his response.
No, Keltrick, no. He spoke before, but we'll talk about that. Go ahead.
Okay, we'll build later. Come over to Navy Yard, man. Let's go get a drink and politic over it.
I need to fly back.
We'd love to.
So here's the deal. We go out to the bars, happy hour, dinner, you out with your folks. Is a really mundane topic. You know, it's not really sexy. Tipping. You know, there's this thing about black folk and black folk not tipping. You know, that's the common, predominant thought. And then, it's some, I think there's some blowback to that, because then servers, when they see they got black people, they don't really mess with them, rock with them, because they assume that these black people ain't gonna tip me. Do y'all tip? And if so, do you find yourselves over tipping to overcompensate for the stereotype we have as a community when it comes to tipping?
I don't know. I would say the answer to that question is no. I tip based on service. I could give a damn if they get pissed off at whatever I give, if I decide to give or not to give. If someone's service is exceptional, sometimes I've done 100% tip gratuity. Sometimes it's just been you get nothing. Sometimes it's 15, sometimes it's 20. It just really depends. I just hate the fact that everything now asks for it. It requests a tip. It asks for a tip. I'm like, you ain't do nothing. Why it's even on the screen, man? Just give me what if I go to damn CVS, I should have to tip you to ring me up. I'm being facetious, but that's really kind of what it's boiling down to at this point.
I mean, I normally do tip. It just kind of depends. You would have to be really, really terrible, because I know I used to be a waiter once upon a time. So I know most of the time it's not the waiter's fault. It might be the kitchen. It might be who knows, whatever the deal is. So I'm not going to punish that person. I think it's jacked up that's kind of how the system is. But normally I tip just because, I know how that whole system works. I don't tip because I'm trying to avoid some type of stereotype or whatever the case is. It's just, that's kind of the way it is. All I do is just like double the first number of whatever the bill is. So whatever that is, we good.
Yeah, that typically ends up being around 20%. And a lot of people in the comments, Jen, Zoe, Lisa, they saying they hit them with a 20% tip. And Lisa said, and deduct if needed. So she starts 20 is your ceiling. And if they service is piss poor, then you start taking off. The thing that's getting me now are the establishments that are adding the tip as a part of the bill automatically, and then leaving a space for additional tip, and then not telling me, not making it. Oh, by the way, we add the 20%. So now I get it. I may have had a drink or two. I'm not really paying attention. Then I go to tip them, and then I get back and I look at my bill. I'm like, yo, I tipped them twice. And I ain't mean to do that. So I usually be in my feelings when folks be like, yeah, we do that. And I see, Nisha's talking about some places automatically add that gratuity for. I had a party of 15 people. I had a party of 15 people. And even she said, we didn't add tip just to make me knowledgeable of it. But then across the street at the other place, I sat down at the bar and got me something to eat and something to drink. One thing to eat, one thing to drink. That was it. Just me. And they still, that establishment automatically adds tips. And I was like, that's whack. I'm going to tip.
Unless it's just horrible. Unless things is just absolutely terrible, horrible, then I don't feel no kind of way, and I will absolutely not.
Even when it's horrible, because, in a lot of spaces that I what's been told to me is that those tips are split amongst other folk who are working, not just the person who's serving your food. So the service piss poor, but the food was cooked, tables were bust. I'm still gonna give him something.
Y'all better than me. If the service is bad, I typically will. Let me be very, very honest with myself. I am probably more of a tipper than I wouldn't. So it has to be in the situation I'm like, man, you don't deserve any of my money outside of me paying for my food. But there have been times when I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be 0.
Mm.
And I've been comfortable with that.
I can't remember the last time I didn't tip anything. I'm sure that it has happened, but it's been so long that I can't even remember when it was.
Yeah, I don't,
I think
don't.
I'm
23 seating
absolutely
place.
gonna hook the bartender up. I will take
No,
bartenders
Giannis is
more
probably
than I
more
tip
than that.
waiters.
I don't think he was a tipper when we were at seating place.
Who?
You.
Don't do that. Wow, really?
I could have swore we had a conversation about it. Now, mind you, this was 20 years ago.
Right.
But I could have swore you was like, nah, I'm not tipping him.
I mean, if it was jacked
That's
up, then
true.
it was jacked up. No question
Listen,
about it. I
listen,
always take care of bartenders.
I'm gonna be honest. When he said that he was a tipper, I was shocked to hear him say that.
Now, see, is the inference that I am a little bit on the cheap side?
Well, I was gonna say you are more conservative with how you distribute your funds.
This is true.
Yes.
This is true. I
Very.
am frugal. No doubt
Beyond
about it.
frugal.
Hey,
Beyond frugal.
I'm going to squeeze $1 till it hollers. Internet, that's what I do. But no,
Yeah.
I feel like I do tip, et cetera, et cetera. Definitely not because of being black or whatever the case is. And always took care of my bartenders. Absolutely.